that surprised me, kind of, given the situation that we've been in, happens this past week. The Browns signed quarterback from the Baltimore Ravens, Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley, into this quarterback room. I'll go real fast because I don't have a whole lot to say on this. I was a little bit surprised, given the fact that the Browns went out and signed Jameis Winston, which I love. I love Jameis Winston. He's already proving to be a fantastic addition with some of the stuff you're seeing on social media right now. But I think it's as simple as this. Last year, you went through Deshaun Watson, P.J. Walker, DTR, Joe Flacco, Jeff Driscoll. Like, you went through a lot, and the team was still winning football games. And I think it's as simple as they want more security and more competency at the quarterback position. And I like Tyler Huntley a lot. I would have liked him if he was just the second string. But I think it's clear that it's going to be Deshaun, Jameis, and Huntley. Maybe Huntley, outbids Jameis for the second spot. Probably not. But nevertheless, at the very least, Tyler Huntley, long-term backup for the Ravens, can possibly be a great scout team Lamar Jackson in practice. You ever thought about that? So that's valuable. So, hey, I mean, I'm not mad at the Browns doing everything they can to prepare for the worst. I'm not mad at that at all. The only concern I have is I hope this doesn't mean DTR is gone, because I still am a big fan of DTR and what I believe he can be. So we'll see what happens there. If he is no longer a Brown, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to be too upset. I'm not going to say we're going to suck, but it makes a lot of sense given how last year went. Browns doing their due diligence. Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, Tyler Huntley, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, all in the quarterback room currently. Tristan, surprised me. Did it surprise you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're talking about, already kind of secured our quarterback 2 spot, and we were content with DTR. I mean, you and I even both said, like, we were fine if DTR had to be the backup this coming season.
Second string.
Second string. Yeah, like we were fine with that. As crazy as that sounds now, with the additions, but it definitely was a shocking move. And am I happy we did it? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you have the opportunity to bring in I almost was talking more about Judy. I was about to say receiver. Anytime that you have the opportunity to bring in, a veteran quarterback into that room, because Tyler Huntley, he is a veteran. He has experience playing games at a reasonably high level. I'd even argue a higher level than Jameis Winston. This is what we're talking about here. Like, a guy who I'm still shocked we kind of brought him in. It makes this room deep. But for me, the ultimate reason why I feel like we signed this guy was because I think that there is a concern about Deshaun heading into camp as far as his readiness and like when he will be ready to start taking those starting reps. And there is a chance that he misses the first game or two. I don't think that's out of the question. We'll have to wait and see what the reports are when we get to camp. But the Browns are preparing themselves. That's what this is. They're preparing themselves for potentially the worst. And that's why I like this, right? Is because it's preparing us before something can even happen. Because as we saw last year, something can happen.
And after the trade deadline too, when you didn't have options.
Exactly. So I don't hate this at all. And if people, when I said like Deshaun may have to miss the first couple games, if people were upset with that, like why, like if he was not here for start the season, I'd be upset. And I kind of get that because this is supposed to be the defining year. You want him to play the full season. My argument to that would then be, right, we don't want any excuses for this guy to fail. If we're gonna see if this guy can work here, we're gonna give him every potential opportunity and see if he can make it work. We're not gonna give him an excuse to not let this work. So, it's extra insurance. And for me, and we'll get into this with the next guy we're talking about too, this is a clear line in the sand that this is the year that we actually, like, we've been talking about it, like, a couple of years ago when we first made that trade, like, yeah, this is our year. I always kind of felt like, next year I think is more so, but I agree that we have a chance. That year didn't go as we wanted. Of course, Deshaun got the big suspension. Last year, we both said, this is our year. This is the year that we've got to get somewhere with this. Injuries kind of derailed us. A lot of things kind of came up out of the Browns' control. And we still fought through it and had a great year, given what had happened. And now we're saying it again. And, coming into this off season, it's not like we were saying like, ooh, we got holes here, we got holes here, we got holes here. Like, no, we really only said the big hole was at wide receiver 2, and then seeing what we did with the linebacking room, which is, again, another topic we'll get into. If DTR ends up being cut, I can live with it. Okay, I can. As much as it would it would pain me to see it, because I like the potential he has. You have the arm strength there, you've got the mobility there. There's a lot to DTR that you like, and especially in that Denver game before he got hurt, it felt like he was really starting to piece it together and starting to get it down in the NFL. And then, just, hey, you got hurt. But ultimately, Kevin signed off on this, right? Kevin's not just saying, oh, you got me Tyler Huntley? Okay. This is something that Kevin signed off on because he realized, listen, like, we lost that Ravens game because, hey, like, we were not prepared, and part of we was also DTR. As much as it may be unfair to say, DTR was not ready to go against the Ravens, right? And we can't afford that this year. We cannot afford to have a quarterback that's not ready to go. We have to have one, at least one. So we're going to have 3 guys that have starting experience, and we'll see what happens. And who knows, maybe DTR has a hell of a camp, does great in the preseason, and maybe one of Jameis or Huntley goes. It's possible.
Or a trade.
I do think or even a trade. Yeah. But regardless, this is an all out move, or an all in move, I should say. We're all in this year. There's not going to be an excuse. So that was and this is going to lead into our next topic, Derek. I didn't know if you had any final comments on Huntley before we moved on.
No, I was just going to say, I completely agree. I think it's just, given how last year went, I think they're happy with the win-loss record. I think they're happy with getting to the playoffs. But at the end of the day, this team, this roster, you mentioned it, we were saying, this is our year. Based on how Andrew Berry has handled things contractually and the roster structure of how guys are here, I think it's another 1 to 2 years. Like, we're extending the window with some of these moves, I feel, personally. But they're doing these small little things to ensure that they're going to get the best that they can in case. And, for me, I think that's what Huntley is. So I like it. I think it makes sense. It's unfortunate for DTR. We'll see what his future is. But for the Browns, can't bank on a rookie when you're needing somebody to start. Like, if that's the situation, hey, here we are. But, speaking of security at a position,